Bubbles, we're here. Hey, good morning. It is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, and it just turned 6:01. I was trying to hustle up so I get in here um, before it hit 6, so we can still be in the 5-hour hour. 2 minutes late. 2 minutes late, which is funny because that's what we're going to talk about today. Anyway, I am. Good morning, and this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, and I am Greg Mester. And I'm your Scrum Master and Agile Coach. I'm just laughing at myself. It's funny. Where we talk about it's Friday. This is our 388th show, and it is funny. I was just laughing. I have to talk about. Well, we're going to talk about it in a second. Why I'm laughing at myself. So we talk about Agile and Scrum in a practical and tactical way. I'm going to get very practical today. And it's Friday. We're going to do Fortune Cookie Friday. Yay! We're all going to have some fun because part of our thing here is have a little fun and learn as we go and bring value to the customer and don't work like craziness over top of it, right? So, why am I laughing? Why am I laughing? Because the two topics I want to talk about today, it's kind of like one topic, but it's just rushing to get stuff accepted and to end the sprint and the rush and being late and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit because of just stuff going on and then what happened here. And also, it was funny. I had irony yesterday. We talked about picking Agile frameworks and stuff like that. And then and lo and behold, there was a team, and I got called in a meeting about a team wanting to go from Scrum to kanban. And one Agile coach was all worried about it, and I could just walk through the process. And it's funny, we went through that yesterday, and I got to do it that afternoon. Totally unexpected, but it happens all the time, right? It's nothing new. Stuff we talk about is stuff you're going to encounter if you haven't already many times, and it's just the way it works, right? So why am I laughing this morning? Oh, because I want to. So every sprint, right? Every team does this. Every team rushes to get stuff done at the end. There's always that one little story that wasn't approved yet, and you try to get the product owner, and whoever's got to approve it and try to give it approval so it can go through and you can get credit at the end of the sprint. Happens all the time. It's nothing new. And do you want it to happen all the time? No. I mean, it would be nice to have everything done a day or so, 2 days before the sprint closes. That would be great. That'd be awesome because the stress level will be down. But then they'll always go grab something more and add it to the sprint bandwidth at the end. So why I was laughing was because we're going to talk about this and how people get so uptight about getting there and getting it done and getting it before the sprint finish line. And here I am rushing to get here because I want to get in before 5 o'clock close and doing stuff and getting ready and maybe cut corners. I don't know. The cat's over here. But I was laughing at myself because I'm about to just talk about it. And what am I doing? I'm rushing to get everything done so we can get the show in within the 5 o'clock hour today. It was just fun. So I was laughing at myself. So what am I talking about here? So get my little handy dandy book. There's always this push to get everything you plan to do and accepted in the sprint. And sometimes it creates a lot of stress. Like I had somebody the other day their team had one story left. And I was like, the sprint closes today. What are you going to do? I'm like, well, we could try to get them to approve. We didn't want to close it because we can get approvals. I'm like, just close the sprint. Just move the story to the next sprint and then do whatever you got to do it right to get it closed. Because what I see is them keep extending it. And this is why this is a multi-factor thing. So that's in the workplace, right? So you're in the workplace. My thing is just go ahead, close the sprint out, move the next story. It's no big deal. The world doesn't come to an end. It's like last night and why I was up a little bit later today and getting in. I'm expecting a package yesterday from the U.S. Post Office, and I'm supposed to get by 8 o'clock at night, and they said it was going to be late. So I got a text. I don't know what time I get the text last night. I think I got the text. Okay, yeah. So Thursday at 10:27 at night says is expected delivery by Thursday, August 13th, which was yesterday. So I got a text from the post office saying your stuff's going to get delivered. Hey, Amir, good morning. Yesterday, and I got the text at 10:30. So I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm getting it delivered by midnight yesterday? So I stood up, left the door cracked open so I can, in case the postal service in their weird mind decides to deliver, right? They're extending their deadline. Why couldn't they just say, hey, we're going to deliver it tomorrow because it's 10:30 at night, right? Good morning, Amir. So, did I type? I don't know. Maybe not. Good morning, Amir. Oh, and I'm wearing my shirt from one of our fans, Olivia. So I got her shirt. I think I wear this on Fridays. It matches the colors. My kids and all, and Olivia, they made sure it kind of matches the colors of the logo. So I might be wearing this shirt more on Fortune Cookie Fridays. But anyway, so I got a text at 10:30 at night telling me it's going to be there. So I'm up, kind of quasi awake, waiting just in case, because God forbid they actually put the box outside my house at night. It'd be gone. I live in downtown Philly and centers in the world of Philly. Man, it'd be gone. So that's where you go and you extend this thing. Why don't you just say, look, we'll get it tomorrow. We're going to close the sprint out. We're going to deliver it tomorrow. And then in the end, I guess at what time they send the message? 1:55 a.m. this morning, they say, oh, we'll deliver your package by today, Friday at 7:15 p.m. Why couldn't they just send that out at 10 o'clock last night? Because unrealistically, they would ever deliver stuff. But you never know in this world, they might be nuts. So that's just like, I'm giving that story just like in the office. Okay. So let the stuff go and just say, hey, we're going to deliver tomorrow. No big deal. The world doesn't come to an end. And in fact, if you have every night you can drop code, if you can do the code drop thing on a regular basis, then it doesn't really matter, right? The only reason why we have the date is to give you an idea, say, hey, we want to get this stuff done. This is what we're looking at, because it's helpful to have a time box and a deadline. It does work. So that's what I wanted to talk about that. Just let it go. If you have like one or two stories left at the end of the sprint and you're jumping through hoops to get it approved and done so you get credit for it, it's not a big deal. It's okay. It'll work its way in the rut and out in the wash, because anyhow, most groups use more than one sprint for establishing their average velocity. Nobody does one sprint, right? If anybody does one sprint and uses that as their average velocity, then they're insane. So, all right. So, the other topic, the irony of yesterday's talk. So yesterday we talked about, establishing which framework to use in your team. And the funny thing is, like later that day, I had a team wanting to go to kanban. It's like, okay, myself and one coach. There was a third coach in the room, and we were talking about it. And the one coach made a good point about what's your throughput, so we can figure out what your time box is and things like that. And I'm like, I'm fine. I just went through the same thing I went through on the show yesterday. How do you expect to approve the stuff? What's your workflow? making sure that you can't have the same person approve the work who just coded the work, because that's insane, right? Because that's just wrought with problems and disasters in the future. And just went through some basic stuff, and I said, no, I said, it's fine. I said, even in safe, which we practice, I said, we can do two-week sprints and just close the door out. This is what we're going to do every 2 weeks. And there was questions in there about dependencies and how you do that. So, well, when we do, because one coach was worried about them not being active in sprint planning. I'm like, well, of course they're going to be active in sprint planning, because if they're like a support group, like people would ask them to do stuff. I'm like, well, those teams are going to need them to do stuff should be identifying that during PI planning and identifying those connections and letting the team know when they're going to need it anyhow. And you can still plan for that. And says, I just need it by this date with a due date, or if we give them 2-week increments, just have it done by this 2 weeks and write it down in the story. This is why when we started writing story writing the other day, there's all this stuff that can go into the story capture as part of the work. Like, when does it due? When does the other team need to work? What sprint do they need it done? When is a due date, right? And that can go in there. But I just thought it was irony that was there. But one of the things that the coach was worried about was like financial reporting, and reporting out for the progress of the team. And I'm like, really? Your biggest concern is the financial reporting out the progress of the team? Well, I'm like, I said, well, we have all that. It's all connected and everything like that. And there's epics and there's that and there's deliverables and theme or whatever. And initiatives or projects or whatever you want to call them. They're all linked up. So, I mean, they're going to have it. I just thought that the worries was more of a paperwork tracing than it was actually the performance of the team. So it was funny that they thought the value add from the team was not the productivity of the team. The value add was the ability to report out progress on a project. Yeah, but I don't agree with that. At least for a corporate perspective. Maybe if you're a corporate person, you're like, well, we need to know when you're doing and how you're doing. Like, but that doesn't make us money. Anyway, all right. So those are the two topics I wanted to bring up: the irony of that, and then some of the other concerns that people have picking one thing, and they were worried about kanban. I said, well, you can put a time box on it, and we do every PI. All the work in the PI has to be closed out by the PI's end. Anyhow, we don't let people go into the next PI, so we can account for what work was done and what was accomplished and build a customer. So it's really not hard. People make it a lot harder than it really is. So anyway, Fortune Cookie Friday! Right, Bubbles? Got the cat here. See, got it. Push your tail. Yeah, hi, Bubbles. Fortune Cookie Friday. All right, you want to check it out? You're going to check out the Fortune Cookie? She's like, what is that? Is that plastic? I can eat plastic. I like to eat plastic to drive my owners nuts, especially me. They do that when they're hungry or thirsty. They want my attention. They go find plastic and go jump on it. Right? So anyway, hey, how do you measure team productivity when you're working on contract as a developer? Huh. Okay, so we got a question on the chat. How to measure team's productivity when you are working on contract as a developer? And I think that's from Sujith. I said that right. So we'll add that. So we're at the 1354 amendment. You're working on a contract as a developer. Well, one, that's a weird one. Why does a developer care about the team productivity when you're working on a contract as a developer? Typically, I wouldn't want my developers to worry about that crap. They should not care about the productivity of the team. And how do you measure it? If you are a developer, how do you get measured? As a team, you measure velocity, what you produce every sprint. I don't know if you measure it, just want to get it so you can measure how much work you get done, the amount of features. You can do it by story points, however you want to do it, number of issues, like a throughput, for every sprint, every time box. You got to use a time box to measure productivity. Without time box, it's very hard to do. So you need to establish a time box, establish what you want to measure, points, throughput, how many issues come through. And is it getting better every sprint, every 2 weeks, every time box? Does it get better? That's how you measure productivity team. Now you can also say, and people say, well, what about quality? Measure bugs and stuff like that. Oh, we're at the 15-15. We're way over. So maybe I'll come back and answer that tomorrow. I think I gave you some feedback on that, but I'll do that in the show tomorrow. So we got to do Fortune Cookie Friday. Yay! It's Fortune Cookie Friday. Let's see if the fortune cookie from the Agile accountants, the ones who worry about whether or not whatever system you pick doesn't screw up the reports to management, right? All right. Let's see what we got here. When push, love digs in its heels. Okay. When pushed, love digs in its heels. How does that apply to Agile? I have to admit, that is tough. When pushed, love digs in its heels. So that's a weird correlation there. I don't know. What do you think, Bubbles? So, as an Agile coach, I'm gonna do this. A lot of times when you love people and they push you away because for some reason they're hurting, things are wrong, things are broken, not getting what they want, stressing out in life and everything, internal squabbles. But we're also going to talk about work as a coach. I got a lot of coachees that I try to coach, a lot of teams I coach who do not want to be coached, who do not make room to be coached. Do I walk away and say, just forget it? At a point I do. But what I do is I always knock on the door to make sure they're okay. Whether they answer me or not. So I do. So you can say I do love my coachees, where I have some coachees that have disappeared over time. And in fact, I'm going to go put out a thing probably this weekend about offering some free coaching for 1 or 2 more people, just to change out people that have kind of disappeared. If they come back, I'll work out something, whatever. And it's free coaching for 6 months. It's once a week for a half hour. And I think it's gone pretty good. People enjoy the coaching sessions. So but I don't leave them go, right? I will send them an email. I send them a LinkedIn post. If I see something related to something, related to freeing up time or getting where they want, or give them support, and just check in every once in a while. How you doing? Do you need anything? Do you want to talk? How's things going? Just that connection. So even though they're pushing me away from coaching, and I have it with all my teams, I get pushed away a lot. They don't want to coach because they're afraid that being coached is a sign of weakness or something. I don't know. I don't get in their psyche. Could be a million reasons why they don't want to get coached, right? But I just let them know I'm there. And then if they ever need to talk about something, that I'm there. I reach back every once in a while for my coaches that left a while back and kind of disappeared, just to say, hey, you're still alive. Are you doing okay? Let me know if you need anything, right? And that's what we do. So as coaches, when pushed, love digs in its heels. We do sometimes don't let you push us away too far. We do check on you, right? That's a good coach. When it's all money driven, they go, hey, you didn't pay me, so I'm not going to coach you. But really, if you're coaching people and you want them to succeed, you check in on them every once in a while. And that's actually good customer service. That's the way customer service should be. We're at the 1931 mark. We're almost 20 minutes into the show. So I got to call it. We got to go. We're way overboard. Thumbs up if you like the show. And you all take care. Enjoy your Friday. Ring a little bell if you like what we're doing. And hopefully it won't go over 20 minutes because I think YouTube does some wacky stuff with their algorithm once that happens. All right, take care. Bye, everyone. Enjoy your Friday. Have fun.